If you make excuses, then that's all that's gonna happen, nothing. You're not gonna progress, but you don't know what your genetic potential is. Most people will never reach that because they don't try hard enough. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time. I get Reddit notifications every day, typically people posting pictures of themselves, fishing for compliments, trying to see, hey, do I look good? What do you think of my body? This type of stuff. But in this case, someone posted a picture of a different person and said, hey, do you think this is achievable naturally? Someone posted, achievable, yes. Achievable for the average Joe with average genetics and with a job, responsibilities, kids, bills, etc. Blank, no. And I usually don't comment on stuff, but this one I just had to do. So I just wrote in there, I get the average genetics part, but what does a job, responsibilities, kids, and bills have to do with it? And that can ruffle a lot of feathers because typically when people are posting stuff like this, do you think this is achievable naturally? Rather than having it as motivation to be like, okay, maybe I can look like this, which in this case, this guy, it's obvious that he probably just got done working out or just pumped up his chest and his shoulders to try to look big. He's not overly lean, nothing crazy. He's just swollen. I mean, the difference between me not having a pump and having a pump is huge, especially when you're natural because your muscles aren't just big all the time, but when you do a lot of push-ups or a lot of bench pressing, shoulder, lat raises, everything's gonna swell up because blood gets in it and you look way bigger. But you don't look like that all the time. And when people post pictures, they're always posting their best pictures, best shots, best angles, best lighting. Like he's got abs that you can see pretty good because of the down lighting, but I bet if he was just outside, it wouldn't look that defined. But that's besides the point. People are just looking for an excuse to be like, oh, okay, he takes drugs, so now I feel better about myself because I can't look like that, but it's only because he took drugs that he look like that. First off, forget about genetics. Who cares? I mean, yeah, genetics will be limiting, but you don't know what your genetic potential is. Most people will never reach that because they don't try hard enough. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, training hard, eating right. And if you are into doing that, then cool, but most people are not gonna do that. Most people are obese in the United States. Most people don't have that much self-control or that much drive to try to achieve something like that. And even people that do have really good genetics, that have a good starting point, well, guess what? If they don't work hard, they're not gonna go anywhere. The best basketball players, golfers, race car drivers, whatever, they train a lot and devote time to what they're doing. Partially because they probably love what they're doing, but then they get paid for it, and that helps motivation and all that as well. So then someone said, well, for many people, it's difficult to have the time and money to eat properly and work out while having a family and a job. I can understand making time for the gym can be difficult, but for eating, you're gonna eat the same amount of food regardless if you have kids. So did these people eat less because they don't have kids? You're gonna eat regardless. So you can choose to eat stuff that's helpful, like getting your 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, staying within your calorie amounts you have every day. Even if you go out to fast food, I have lots of videos on the channel showing, hey, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, these are a couple really good places where you can get good chicken meals with lots of protein, it's filling, and you're good to go, and you're gonna be within your calories for the day. But people go to McDonald's and eat junk, or go out with friends to whatever restaurant and get a 1,500 calorie burger or something like that and think, oh, well, my life's just hard, so I'm eating this stuff. You can choose to eat. There's good choices at almost every restaurant you go to. So don't use that as an excuse because you can control your diet regardless of how many kids you have or what kind of job you have. You can always have good options. And hey, take protein bars with you. I always have these for snacks to make sure I can get the protein amounts that I need. But then the person continued, especially if you're working overtime or multiple jobs just to get by, stress wears you down. Good for you that you have all that, but try to empathize with people who have things a lot harder than you. So just because someone said that, I had to say, okay, I have 3 jobs and I have these kids. Eating properly doesn't take any more effort than eating unhealthy. That's the whole point. You're choosing what you're putting in your mouth. Yeah, if you cook a good meal, that might take more time, but you go out to eat every meal, you can still pick good choices. When I'm out on the road, guess what? I'm not cooking anything, but I've got lots of videos on going to a 7-Eleven and picking healthy foods, salads, and all kinds of stuff you can do. If you make excuses, then that's all that's gonna happen, nothing. You're not gonna progress or do any better. So then of course people say stuff like, how in the world do you have 3 jobs, 5 kids, gym 5 days, and cook? Dang. And someone else says, well, easy because you're full of it. And someone else said, or a deadbeat dad who spends 0 time with his kids. He's definitely full of it though. You can have 3 jobs, 5 kids, and plenty of time for the gym. He doesn't sleep, I guess. So Just to point out, I have 3 jobs, but it's not like I go to one job, then get off and go to the next one, get off and go to the next one, okay? I have my main job that I do, then I'm in the military and I've got to do that typically 1 week in a month, if not more at times. And then I have YouTube that I do. I've got 2 separate channels I run, and you might think, oh, that's not a job, but if you've never done YouTube, it takes a lot of work. And I'm running 2 channels and I have an employee, so I'm having to pay someone else. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So how do you make time for all these things? All these people that say things like, you must be a deadbeat dad, I'm assuming like as soon as they get up in the morning, they're spending as much time as they can with their kids, and then they go to work, kids go to school, you get home, and then all they do is sit with their kids and read books and play with them and all this stuff, and they never do anything, never have any hobbies or any of that stuff. Well, I highly doubt that. Did you know that the average American spends 4 hours a day in front of the TV? And sure, you might be watching TV with your kids, but I mean, is that really spending time doing stuff with them? You're just sitting there. Like, I have a TV in my garage. It's football season now. People spend 4 hours in front of a game for that. I don't really care about football, but movies, TV shows, whatever, I'll throw it up in the garage and the kids will hang out with me when I work out sometimes. And since I have spent time with my kids doing stuff like we were building my deadlift platform that I just made a video about if you're interested in building your own, but with them helping me do that, it's got them more interested in wanting to work out. And now my 3 girls all want to deadlift with me, and found out my 7-year-old can deadlift 100 pounds. So that's pretty cool. And she keeps asking to do more, and I want to work out again because they see me doing it, and hey, that's going to affect them and improve their life as they get older too, being healthy and strong. And one thing I've noticed is when you push yourself to be more healthy, you try to improve yourself in that aspect of life, that bleeds over into other things, and you try harder in everything else you do, and typically end up being more successful at those things. But all these people think you have to devote so much time to the gym to make progress. Like, what are you guys doing in the gym? I mean, I know a lot of people are sitting there just looking at their phones, not doing much. I'm going from thing to thing in the gym when I'm not working at my garage, pushing myself hard, and it really doesn't take that much time. I work out 5 or 6 days a week because I like doing legs, push, pull, split. So I go in one day, do legs, then do push, then do pull the next day, because I can get it done quicker and hit those muscle groups harder and make more progress. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna do that my whole life. Like, we're actually having another baby next year, so I've already thought about, hey, I'm gonna have to switch things up. I might work out every other day, or maybe 2 or 3 times a week, depending on what it is. I can do lower body, skip a day, upper body, skip a day, lower body, whatever works out. But a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm having a kid, so I can't do anything now. If I can't optimally eat everything the way I'm supposed to, and I can't train perfectly, well, I'm just gonna do nothing. So instead of making slower gains, I'm just gonna go backwards and do nothing. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Adapt to the situation. Like, I flew 9 hours overnight to get to this hotel, or almost 10 hours, and then super tired because I was flying overnight, and took a nap, woke up, still didn't feel great, so I ate, went back to sleep and got up. It's the middle of the night, everything's closed. I went down to the gym still, even though I didn't really feel like it. It'd be easy to just sit back, watch Netflix and do nothing, be lazy, but I try to force myself to go even times I don't feel like it, and just do a little something, and then that turns into doing more, and I feel better as I'm doing it, and end up being more productive. So, moral of the story, don't make excuses. Like, when people are doing these natty or not things, it's like everyone's just looking for an excuse to blame. This is why I don't look this way. This is why I don't look that way. Oh, I can't look like Thor because he's on drugs. Well, that's true. You probably won't look like him, considering that Chris Hemsworth doesn't even look like him. So people peak for a certain thing, and then you look at that and think, that's what I want to be all the time. But it's not realistic. So rather than looking at other people and saying, can I be like this? Can I be like this? Because even if you ate the same, you took the same drugs, you worked out the exact same, you're not gonna look like that person, because your body's structured differently, your muscles are different, your muscle insertions, sizes, all that, everyone's different. So copying someone else isn't gonna get you those results. Instead, take pictures of yourself, track what you're doing, take pictures again later on every 6 months or so, and you can see your own progress, and guess what? That's gonna motivate you to do better and get towards that genetic limit if that's something you're into. And just to be clear, I'm not here saying everyone needs to look like me, or you need to try to be muscular and lean or all that. I know a lot of people don't care, and that's absolutely fine, but the people in these groups are all about, oh, well, this person only looks like that because of this. But regardless of what your goals are, just being healthy is gonna help you be more productive, work out a few times a week, and it's gonna be better for your life and help you to live longer. So that's it. That's my rant. At Camber Fitness on Instagram. Like this video. Let me know in the comments. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these types of things. Do you care about natty or not? Does that motivate you to try harder, or is it just an excuse for you to do nothing? I don't know, but we'll see you soon.